Hello, everyone, and welcome to another amazing conversation within the 100 Women to Watch campaign. Today, we've got an really interesting topic, and the topic is titled The Heart of Healing Women Leaders, Transforming Inner Conflict into Peace and Power. So, today's dialogue is about like a different kind of leadership. It's about one that's actually rooted in emotional integrity, in self-awareness, and also the courage to heal while we lead, right? So each of our panelists brings different lived experience, wisdom, and presence to this conversation, and together we're going to explore how inner work can turn into outer impact. And I'd like to recognize one of our panelists who's essentially responsible for inspiring this panel topic and for gathering us here today. I just want to thank you so much, Dr. Teri. Can you just tell us a little bit about what this particular topic means to you and your work?
Well, it's so important that we have our own level of healing, right? And I believe if we'll just bring what we've brought to ourselves to other people, it's just easier. It's authentic, it's real, it's tried and true. It's not theory. It's something that we've set up in our own lives, and so that's what I've done as I learned and grew and stretched. I made sure that everything that I was teaching other people, I had it actively, going in my own life. And that starts with proper rest, downtime, sleeping. It's not good to learn all day. It's not good to stretch all day. Sometimes it's time to just sleep. Sometimes it's time to just play a word game. And so I think balance and staying really quiet on the inside is huge, because from there you can hear and flow from there very easily, because you're quiet and you've taken care of what you need.
Absolutely. So it sounds like there's a different way that a person can kind of steward themselves, into being a leader that maybe some people are missing, because they think that the work has to happen 24/7.
Yeah, it can't. It's gonna pay somewhere. And self-care is everything. If I don't take care of me, if I don't make sure that I'm well and peaceful and joyful and well rested, then how am I bringing that to someone else?
Mm.
I find that theory just falls flat. I find the more I embody it, the more I live it, the more I've tried out things, even in the middle of crises and life that happens to me, I still use the same strategies that I share with other people. And if they can't work for me, how am I selling it to someone else?
Right. Whew. Okay. So this is how we're setting the tone for this conversation. I love it, because it's filled with accountability for anyone who is listening. We can start to think about how are we applying this for ourselves. Hi, Lorna.
Hi, Kai, and hello to my fellow panelists and wonderful people that are online. I was listening to Dr. Teri, and I was a bit hesitant to even join the conversation, because in many ways, and I'm going to speak very honestly and from the heart, that regarding this very important life task, I am still in the process of doing it. What I would say is I recognize it more, and I would imagine I might be the elder one here on the panel. So I do in fact recognize the extent to which I have to take better steps in self-care, and ensuring that I don't go into the path of of burnout that I have had in my life in the past. I joined Catherine and others in social work. I'm also a licensed clinical social worker, and working in both clinical work and then up the administrative and state government types of things. And that combined with teaching and all the other things that I was doing at a point, it was really not so healthy. And looking back on it, I'm not sure why I didn't have a wake-up call in my mind that, you often hear the phrase, physician, heal thyself. But I have definitely heard it. So I've taken steps to do a better job of it. And I might share with you also, honestly and from the heart, one of the important reasons that I wrote and published a recent book called Straight Talk from a Wise Woman, Tears, Trauma, and a Healing Path is because with the murder, the horrible and traumatic murder of George Floyd and many others that went along, Trayvon Martin, I'm sure you all know all the names, the horrific names. I found that I was in a situation in which my unseen hurts just kind of a burst. What I talk about it is in terms of a bucket that just got completely overflowed and uh, just burst. And so I think it's important as we talk about this issue that, as Dr. Teri mentioned, we have to have a plan. We have to have a way of monitoring ourselves, because I'm one of them that I can get involved in something and sleep and the other things, the fun things that Dr. Teri talked about, kind of can get lost. And also, I think it's essential that we pay attention to our own needs and inner world and how we are being impacted both by our personal situations that may be difficult and challenging, and also the environment that we're in. Because I'm sure you will agree with me that we all are impacted by all of the environmental, social, cultural things that are going on presently. So, just in summary, I'm a work in progress. I love the support of this group, but if I'm totally honest, I'm still working on the healing and the support that I need to give myself.
Can I chime in here? That was beautiful, and thank you for saying that. It really brought something up for me, because I have always survived, right, by sort of avoiding and just, keep on going on, not always acknowledging what I'm really feeling inside. And I very recently, I had just been, put that away for now, just keep going, put that away for now, keep going, put that away for now, keep going. And my belief is that we've all got to talk to somebody, acknowledge, vocalize the things that are happening within us. And sometimes we may have a tendency to, well, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings. I don't want to say this thing. I don't want to really say what I'm really thinking. I'm just going to tuck it away. It's fine. It's fine. I was doing that. And I had a good old fashioned meltdown this past week, where just like tears and everything just came out, and I was sharing it with my man, and I'm like, I've been holding this in, and it all kind of came out, right? It wasn't anger, it was just tears and crying and all the things. And the truth is that after I did that, I carefully said what was on my mind. There was no anger. There was no resentment at anyone else. It was just, I've been feeling this and I've been holding it in. And once I released that, I actually was able to, okay, now I can move forward. because we get bound up when we're holding all these things in. We get bound up if we're not acknowledging that they exist and they're affecting us. So I appreciate what Dr. Teri said and what Lorna just said. And, we do need to heal, but we also, I think it's important to acknowledge what's happening, and if there's somebody you can talk to about it, or is there a place whatever the reason, the way to get it out. Don't stuff it. Don't stuff it down is my advice, because that does not work.
Heard, Debbie, heard. And I'm just curious too, if you can talk to us a little bit about what it is that you just expressed in the context of how it is that you support people professionally. Because some of us who are already connected to you, we know that you're a former cheerleader. We also know that, you come in with all of this martial arts expertise as well. So we're like, okay, Debbie's got it all figured out. She's got the joy, she's got the cheer, she's got the self-defense. Like, how do you feel about that kind of like exterior persona, and then being able, to have a vulnerable moment with your partner?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think that we show up as one thing in our marketing and all these things. But I will say the one thing that really helps is that I can see in a client that they're maybe acting in a way or doing something that is something I have done. And so I'm able to help guide them in whatever it is, right? But it's a good question, because yes, I do come across that way. And it's not fake when I'm coming across that way, because I'm really feeling it. Admittedly, in the last few weeks, I wasn't feeling that way. I really wasn't myself as you have seen me, because I knew I was going through all this. And so probably when I work with clients, I mean, we can read our clients pretty well sometimes. I'm a transformational mindset coach, and I bring my martial arts, self-defense, fitness background, all those things, all the concept of it. And my ex-cheerleader pom-poms are right up there in case anyone wants to see them. But I do bring that background, but also I can be vulnerable with people, right? If it's going to make sense for them to hear it, not from a standpoint of me, here's what's going on with me. I'm always there for them, but I'm also very open of, I have struggled with this. What I have found is, I definitely bring that to the table, because people do see a leader as they've got it all together. And we're human, right? Nobody actually has it all together. Some days you may have it all together. Some days I don't have it together so much, right? Some days I want to climb under my blankets and stay there and cry, or just watch Netflix all day, and, or whatever it is, right? Or I might go do a workout class and people are like, whoa, I'm not coming near you because you're insane. But I think it's important to acknowledge it in ourselves. And then I think it's also in whomever we're working with, bring that realness of us to the table as well. Hopefully I answered what you were asking.
You sure did. You sure did. And there's another person on this panel who can totally relate. And this is only because we've been having some conversations lately. But Catherine, there is a certain persona, with being in places like on a pageant stage, this is Catherine's realm. I'm going to let you speak more to it. And yeah, for people who have stepped on a stage at any capacity, we get to kind of reconcile with what's going on the inside and the outside. And I'm curious with how it is that you deal with that, especially in the pageant world, and also, in your personal life.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I think almost my self-healing journey really kind of started when I didn't have some little children to take care of. So, my story is kind of like, being a single mother, and I've written a couple of books about it, just from the standpoint of a mother. And when those children were no longer like who I needed to protect, then I kind of realized that I had forgotten the whole time that I needed to protect myself. And so that's very difficult, especially as women, because we're just going, just like Debbie said, you know, just going, and we got it. And sometimes we don't got it. And so, you know, just really having to face that woman in the mirror and be real with her and say, yeah, so you need protection. What do you need to do? You know, how do you deal with your boundaries, and why do you not have boundaries, and why was it important for you to little people that depended on you, but not important to protect you? So it was really a battle. It was almost like a come to myself moment. And, you know, I've written a lot of articles about it, just the woman in the mirror and how do we take care of her. And I'm also, you know, just very gentle with her as I get older as well, because she needs me to take care of her, and she needs me to not bad talk her and call her fat and call her all kinds of names that we tend to do, and think that that's okay. We need to really take care of her. And then I end up in the pageant realm because, so my daughter, you know, is a beauty queen. She was a Miss Universe girl in 2018. And so, thank you. And so, you know, being a pageant mom for a while, and, you know, just being in that whole arena, there was just so many opportunities of seeing beauty and perfection from the outside, but yet there was so much like lack of seeing that with these beautiful young women. And so being able to be in that arena and help to pour into them, you know, just how perfect they are, just how amazing they are. And it's so funny because from the outside, people will have no idea that they're struggling and they're going through all these insecurities, because they're amazing. They look amazing. Everything about them seems amazing. They're young. They have all the things that as we get older, we want, but they don't feel it. And so I think, so my dream a little bit is to help foster and nurture that within young people, so that they're not able, so that they don't have to go through what I've kind of gone through, not recognizing that I needed to take care of me and how wonderful I am, and how wonderful we are as women. So I feel like it started from a personal standpoint and like a battle, but then it ended up really being able to be in a situation where you don't dream that you would find these things, and you find them. So this healing journey, really, it's about, you know, recognizing that person in the mirror, and how do you continue to take care of her as you serve everyone else, because I'm sure all of us are in some form of service. And so it's very easy to serve our clients and serve our fans and serve, you know, all of the people that look to us for that stuff. But at the end of the day, we're depleted. And so how do we fill us back up in order for us to go again? And sometimes it's really just about filling yourself and not going again, finding that day that you can, you know, relax and refresh and restore, and put that on the calendar and make that intentional. That's the most difficult thing, but it's so necessary.
Absolutely necessary. Thank you so much, Catherine. Kasaira?
Yes. Hello, everybody again. It's great to hear everybody's response, and everybody's response does still go all together when we start with self-care. I guess I wouldn't say really new to this type of platform, meaning of being an influencer or being a person that people actually look for your guidance and your story, because one thing that I learned is to be transparent. And so when I hear about you saying self-care, and Dr. Teri, I think about, okay, that is what I'm going through. And going through a training class that I just went to was Restorative Justice. One of the things that we were speaking about was talking about the different type of self-care. For me, I would tell you literally my self-care is I like to lay in the bed, find a show 9 out of 10 to watch me while I'm probably watching playing a puzzle game on my phone. That's a woosah moment for me. Well, some would say, oh, that's not really self-care. You need to go out, go to a spa, get your nails done, your hair done. We think of those things, but that's really not self-care. That's self-maintenance, right? And then, and so then also, I like to, and somebody mentioned about what they like to do. I like to volunteer. I like to help the homeless. I like to go do things. That's something I love. And somebody was like, well, that's self-care there. You're doing something you love. That's for you. If that's what you love to do, then that's what you do, right? So just certain things that we were talking about, and then being on this platform or being at a place where people are looking up to you, whatever title you have as a leader, life be lifing. And so you're right. Some people look at us and be like, you know, they don't go through this, or, you know, we never look like what we've been through. And so I had to learn to just steady be transparent. And it is also to practice what you preach, right? It's not that easy. When you're so good at giving the advice, you know, until it hits home again, or now you're like, and I'm gonna be open. And me and Kai talked about this yesterday. I was supposed to be on a panel. Well, I got into a traumatic situation with my adult son that I had to tell him to leave. Now, me saying, okay, Monday I got a podcast show that I got to get up here. I got to talk. Matter of fact, I got this panel at 12 o'clock, 1:30. I got to be ready for that. I got to put this smile on. I have to talk about it. But I just went through some traumatic stuff yesterday with somebody that I love, that I birthed, that I care for, that I nurtured. He's my enemy now, right? So it's like, how do when leaders come to this place where they have situations like that? And I just think it's all about being transparent. And when we have this safe circle, so I mean, even though we're live now and other people can hear us talk, a safe circle for if it was just us talking about that really helps, because we lack leaders that actually can get help too. Because like someone mentioned, we are human. Life be life. I just got a title, but I'm a woman. I'm a mother. I'm a daughter. You know, I'm an aunt. So there's a lot of things, and we change almost like every century. I'm 42. I'm learning what menopause was. In the Black community, we didn't talk about that. Maybe you heard your grandmother, ooh, I'm hot. It's hot flash. And I told her I had to get my menopause fan, you know, but we didn't talk about what you could do, how you can eat, how you can be prepared for it, right? So these are the things that we go through. And I think just really being transparent. And I just think about somebody saying to me yesterday when they said, it's okay not to be okay. That's deep. It literally is like, you know what? You're right. Hey, I'm all right right now, but I'm really on a roller coaster. Right now, y'all see me smiling. We may get off today and I may be crying because it's a separation as a mother and a child, right? So it's, you know, but that's just a little bit of my piece that I just want to get out there. I don't want to run over. I know we have other questions that we need to answer, but I just really want to thank you ladies for being open and honest and transparent too, because I felt everything each and one of you said. I can relate to it. And I hope that you all that's watching can relate as well.
Absolutely, because there's someone that may be able to hear what you're saying, Kasaira, but maybe they can't hear somebody else. Or maybe you said it in a way that really resonates with them. And, you know, it's really starting to be a catalyst for them. So I love the authentic way that you come into this space and that you're able to share your message for the people that can hear you. Okay, thank you. And likewise for all of us, which is why we get to have this collective conversation. We're all bringing a piece of the puzzle. So I love what we're creating and weaving together here together. So what it is that I'm going to move into is, right, we can talk about the sunny side of all of these things, you know, what self-care looks like. What I'd love to ask is, what survival pattern or self-protective habit, perhaps, did you have to release, you know, that maybe you picked up, that now you can put down in order to step into a deeper, more grounded form of leadership? And anyone is welcome to hop in here.
Can I go?
Absolutely.
My survival mode was to mope in my sorrows. I learned that we are human. It's okay to go through the emotions, but it's not okay to be stuck there. I got paralyzed. I was okay with it. You know, that was my mechanism. Like, oh my God, this stuff is going on again. My life is so messed up. And not realizing that even though I'm going through the trials and the tribulations, that good things are still happening for me, that I need to say, okay, this has happened. What can I do to do better or fix the situation or get healing? Look, where did it start? Why am I in this position? Why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? And that's what I had to learn. It's okay for me to go through the emotions. It is not okay for me to be stuck in that moment. You know, give myself a day or two. Like I think Debbie said, sometimes I want to just be crawl up and get under my bed. And that's literally, I was just like you last week too, Debbie. And I woke up Saturday like, I'm happy. I shook it off. I can keep moving. Today, I woke up. I said, oh, that was the longest day of my life yesterday. All right, but I got to keep moving because I have a mission. And so that was something I had to really learn how to do. Stop being stuck in woe is me. Thank you.
I love
So
it.
I'd like to say something. Also, I think I'm not able to see your name. The person that was just speaking was Kasira. Is it Kasira?
Kasira.
Kasira. Yeah, long guy.
Kasira.
Long guy.
So in my first book, I'm Somebody's Mama. I have one of the chapters, and it talks about limit my wallowing time. And so that was something that was very important to me, that I can wallow. I can wallow in pity or self-pity or whatever, but I'm going to limit it. So I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to sit here for an hour and I'm going to feel what I feel and I'm going to figure it out, or however long. So that just resonated with me. Just talking about, you know, you really can give yourself permission to feel what you feel and work yourself through it. Because a lot of times we put it away like it doesn't exist, and then we just become ticking time bombs, period. And so that's one thing. And the second thing that I want to say is that no one else has to understand what you're feeling. No one, whether it's your husband, your partner, your children, your mother, your sister, it doesn't matter. They don't have to understand. Who has to understand is you. You understand it first. You give yourself permission to feel what you feel, to make your decisions, and not need people to be okay with that, because that sometimes are chains to us. And I find that that's one of the things that I would answer the question then, Kai. That's one of the things that I had to release, needing to make everybody happy, needing people to be happy with my decisions, needing to say yes all the time because I was the strong one, or I was the most successful one in my family, or I was the one who had everything. No, it's okay. That's pressure, and I don't need that pressure. So you don't have to understand why I have to say no. You don't have to understand why I don't want to do it, or I'm not going to do it, or whatever. But I have to understand first, because Catherine has to take care of Catherine. Because put on your mask first, like absolutely. So yeah, definitely. And so I'll send that out to you, because Sarah, just send that dust out to you. And your child is not your enemy, and you know that in your heart. He is not your enemy. He's not going to be your enemy. So we're gonna rebuke that also, because we got to do sometimes. But it's a moment, you're flowing through it, and it's gonna be fine.
Thank you.
Amen. Dr. Teri?
Oh, there's so much. I just love this conversation. I just love meeting all these women. And yes, so I will say that, yes, there's post-traumatic stress. It's real. It's painful. It's hard. We've all gone through things. And to Catherine's point, yes, give yourself permission to feel it, to see it, to hear it, to acknowledge it, call it what it is. And then what I do is I set limits though I set limits on how long I'm going to process it. And here's a huge one for me is I try to process things through the love lens more than the fear lens. So, I mean, you can take something huge like divorce. I've gone through divorce after 28 years of marriage. Now that's real, right? And that's painful. But my choice, I couldn't control that, but I could control my responses to it. You know, the first thing I fought for was being able to sleep 7.5 to 9 hours straight, because I was going to need that rest and I was going to need that peace to get through what I was going through. And so being able to hear on that love lens, right? You know, I could wake up in the morning and go, oh my gosh, that's right, I'm getting divorced. This happened. This is crazy. I didn't see that coming. And that's real, right? But if I stay there, I'm just going to have a rough ride that day. But if I say, hey, I'm going through divorce, but I have a roof over my head. God is with me. God can give me a great outcome. Even though it doesn't have to be one specific outcome, I can choose to be strengthened and healed and carried through that process, or I can be in a puddle for too long. You know, it's up to me. I'm going through it either way, but I can go through it a way that's more depleting, or I can go through it a way where I can maintain my peace and my joy, right? Even in the middle of divorce. And by the way, it was a 3-year process. I would have been stoked had it been a 3-month process. I get it. You know, let's divide it. Let's go. But it was 3 years. And so without a strategy, you know, again, you're going to need your sleep. Well, you're not going to sleep well if you have been freaking out all day. If you've been processing this divorce through the fear lens, oh my gosh, I may lose my house. You know, what is someone going to think? I didn't have time for all of those things. I set my focus, and whenever I couldn't encourage myself, I found someone to encourage me, whether they were on YouTube or in front of me. But, you know, people aren't always accessible 24/7. That's why I love, you know, to teach people how to have their own tools and to apply them in the moment. Right? To have the tool and not get it out and apply it won't help either. So yes, life is real. Pain is real. The things that we've gone through are very real, but being able to hear on that love lens, you know, what is God saying? What is hope saying? Right? And not letting what we go through dictate our tomorrow. It doesn't. I'm divorced. That's still true, but I'm intact. I'm well. I'm not just surviving. I got to a place of thriving, you know, and so that's what I'd like to contribute.
Very nice. Very nice. May I also offer something, and really maybe in a sense, go back to something that was focused on earlier, in that I had to really begin to take steps to examine my own identity. Now, what do I mean by that? I grew up in an extended family with what I like to call at times super women. My grandmother, my aunts, and my mother. These were women that I saw them, the four of them, pick up a oil drum out of our basement and to get rid of it. And then, you know, kind of washed their hands and then got ready for church with white gloves and beautiful hats and whatever. And no one would have believed that they had just carried this large drum, or that they had painted the whole house, or that they installed windows, or that they cooked Thanksgiving dinner year after year after year, Easter dinner year after year after year, doing the cooking when a relative died, and gobs of people will come to our house. So what I'm trying to say is, I grew up thinking that all of the things that they did, that I could do also. But what I didn't realize at the time is that a lot of the things that they were doing, they didn't enjoy it. They didn't allow themselves to have the kind of joy and the kind of wonderment in their life, because they had so many aspects of obligation to family, obligation to what was expected of them. And so that I had to make some major changes into what would be the womanhood identity for Lorna versus these women that I thought were just magical. Oh, and by the way, I also saw them deliver a baby of a neighbor because the ambulance was late coming, and the baby had the cord around its neck, and they figured out how to turn the baby around so that the baby lived. So they were healers as well. But what I have come to understand is that a sense of peace, of joyousness, of success and satisfaction is something that I can define for my life. And several years ago, I stopped cooking these enormous dinners for Thanksgiving and so forth, because I would do all this cooking and set up, and everybody would enjoy it and whatever. And all I wanted to do was maybe just go to bed, not even eat anything, or there was no enjoyment. In fact, I think when I made the decision to quit, I was in tears because I was so exhausted, even though I will tell you, I did all the things right in the preparation, starting maybe the Tuesday or the Monday before Thanksgiving and cutting up everything and all the things that we do in preparation. But nonetheless, it didn't work and I was exhausted. So my self-definition had to change. And I came to the realization that maybe I'm not going to be a superwoman like my aunts and mothers and grandmothers, but I was going to be my own kind of woman. And that own kind of woman would be a woman that would have a self-definition of joy being a priority in whatever I did, even as a caregiver that I did for many years. And I think that that's something that we need to examine as time goes on. What is our definition of ourselves? What do we feel are our priorities in our lives? And this is as women and also as women leaders.
I'm jumping in on this one because identity is such a huge thing. We see ourselves a certain way. And sometimes we see ourselves as not the thing we think we should be. Sometimes we see ourselves a way and then we look at ourselves and we're like, wait a minute, you're not exactly that, right? But I've been doing a ton of work about my own identity, right? And where I like what Kai said, what I put out there in the world is one thing, but inside many times I don't see myself as those things. I was raised by a father that said, find a man to marry you and take care of you. And I transformed that into a belief of I couldn't take care of myself unless there was a man around. And that I believed that I wasn't capable of earning money and I wasn't capable of, the list goes on, right? The list goes on. And as I'm a businesswoman and I'm earning money and continuing to up level, right? That's the goal. And sometimes you run up against a brick wall. And I see this in my clients too. So I can spot it in them. And there's sometimes there's shame around it. There's shame around this identity of I'm trying to be this thing over here, but I feel like I'm this thing over here. And that gap, can get in the way of what we're attempting to do. Oftentimes we don't even realize that we don't see ourselves as like, I don't deserve this level. I don't deserve this level. I don't deserve love. I don't deserve a relationship. I don't deserve wealth. I don't deserve health, whatever it is. Like we all have these beliefs, whatever it is to each of us. I love what you just said about, like, I don't have to be Superwoman, but what if you are Superwoman, just not one that does and did all the things that your, relatives did, right? Like we have an image of it looks like this and I'm not that. So there's a gap and there's something wrong. Not all of us, but sometimes we get there. So identity work is one of my big focuses as we go into 2026. I'm really noticing what's coming up for me. The value of that is I can help my clients do it too, because I see it in them. I will tell a quick story about a client who basically his business wasn't working as well as he wanted it to. And he was so upset because he said, I'm not a successful man. I'm not a successful person because I can't afford to give to charity this year. And he viewed his belief that, the only way to be successful is to be able to do this thing. And we talked about the fact that you desire to do something for charity makes you successful. Just depends what your view of success is. And also there are other ways to give to charity. You can donate your time. You could donate things in your home. You could do a fundraiser. There's a million things you could do. So flipping the switch on our belief about what something looks like and where we fit into that, I think is really important. So I appreciate bringing up the identity thing. And thank you, Kai, for letting me chime in on that one, because I was like jumping through the screen.
You're welcome. Can you also share with everyone how they can find you online, Debbie?
Absolutely. On LinkedIn, I'm Debbie Pickus, just like it's spelled in this beautiful graphic you see here. And you can also, you can find me on Facebook as Debbie Rapport Pickus. I think our link is in the comments here that I know you're going to share. And you can go to my website, which is team-fireball.com. It's old. You could still contact me there if you want to. We're working on that, right, Kai?
Exactly.
We've had this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie. I love how you just intuited right into the last question that we're asking here. So as we're wrapping up, Dr. Teri, would you be willing to share briefly, what does true power feel like in your life today, and also where people can find you online?
There it goes.
All good.
Online, it's drterrywillis.com. Okay. On Instagram is drterry.campwillis on Instagram. And what was your other question, Kai?
What does true power feel like in your life today?
Okay. True power to me is being able to not allow external things to suck me into a vortex. If I'm able to keep all of that out here, and then I'm only controlling my response to it, again, through that filter of not fear, because real often, we filter things through fear. And to me, the opposite of fear is love, right? Love says, it's not the end of the world. Love says there's going to be another tomorrow. Love says if it's not well, it can become well. Love says that there's a community around that can help to strengthen and uphold and get you through. And that's how I maintain my power, is I stay quiet here. I don't allow myself to have 15 things going that I'm worried about. Worry to me gets in the way of maintaining peace and maintaining power over my own life.
I hear you. I hear you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and inspiring this conversation. So much gratitude for you and your sharing.
You're very welcome. I'm so honored. I just love helping women, listening to women, helping them rearrange their days or their lives to maximize their own self care.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dr. Teri, thank you again. And drterrywillis.com. Got it. And the links for everyone will be shared in the public chat if you're watching us live. Thank you to my team for doing that. And let's head over to Lorna. Lorna, will you share what does true power feel like in your life, especially having heard, the disparities, adversities that you face, that you shared in your book?
I think it would be too long of a conversation, and we do have to end soon. But what I would say is, I have come to the place in my life where I have identified the things that have limited my joy and limited my self-definition of who Lorna is and who Lorna aspires to be. And so I think I've had to make decisions about what I needed to let go in my life, in terms of this self-definition, and and perhaps let go of some things and add more of the things that would fuel my passion, and not getting away with this intrinsic feeling that I have inside of me to help others, because I'm really so much about that. But at the same time, having more of a balance of the things that bring me joy. And if that means not cooking Thanksgiving dinner or having a totally pristine house, in favor of when others were talking about self-caring things, like going for a swim. I love the water. That it's okay not to have such a pristine house. As long as it's somewhat neat and you can get through all of the stuff, it's okay to let things go. And I hope I would engender some of your readers wanting to contact me. My website is www.lornajhines.com. I'm also on Facebook, Lorna J. Hines, and I'm also on Instagram, and that's Inner Depths. Inner Depths, INNERDEPTHS. I just felt that was the name that I wanted for Instagram. And that was also part of my journey of doing something that maybe it wasn't necessarily correct, but that it gave me joy. Thank you all for listening.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lorna. Kasaira, will you be willing to share as well? What does true power feel like for you? And also, where can people find you out in the world and on the internet?
Okay. Excuse me. What does it mean to me? Being real and transparent, and just being real and transparent, and telling my story, because as we just done on this panel, we both are kind of like-minded women, and I found out that me sharing what I go through and what I've been through, it has helped me heal and heal others and listen to others. So really what I found my power in is just being okay with being honest, not throwing nothing under the rug, not pushing it in a closet, but saying, hey, this is what I'm going through. This is what I went through. And so that's where I'm finding my power. And the reason why I say that is because as growing up, and we were talking about, and I was listening to Miss, I don't want to chop up your name, but is it Miss Lauren?
Lorna.
Lorna. And I was hearing what you were saying, because you do grow up and you see your grandmother, your aunts, and how they operate, and you think this is how we're supposed to be, or you hear society say this is what you're supposed to be like as a woman, or portray as whatever, right? And so once I learned to love me, because people say, oh, you share too much of your business. Excuse me. I've always been transparent. I always told all my business, right? I joke around, tell people no one in this world can blackmail me, because I tell on myself before you could. So I was told that was wrong. I was told, oh, you're too loud. That was wrong, because now I'm transparent. I tell the truth, and I'm loud enough for you to hear me, right? So that's where I found my power at. And with saying that, I do have a podcast show called The Truth Podcast. We're on 5 different platforms, social platforms, which Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch in. You can find me more so likely on Facebook. You can find me as Kasaira LV Potts. And I am in a process of just branching off and branding and doing a little bit more. Even with, I didn't mention about my LV Women's Support Group too. So that's how you can kind of find me: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and LinkedIn.
Thank you, Kasaira. And Catherine, will you bring us home with letting us know what power feels like for you in your life these days, and also where people can find you?
Okay, so for me, power, for me, my power is just knowing that I'm in control of my life, being in control, that I'm in control of what's next. That is everything for me. Not being a victim of circumstances, not being a prisoner of what people think or what they think I should be doing, not being a hostage in love, all that stuff. Just being in control of me, and knowing that I do create what happens next in my life. And if something is happening that I'm not so happy about, I can shift and I can change and I can make things happen. And that to me is everything, because it allows me to sleep at night. It allows me to get up and continue to do what I need to do, and also just being true to myself, being the most decent human being that I can be in this world, so that I don't have to think about the things that I could have done differently, but every day to intentionally just work on being a better me. And I just want to point out that I love the love lens. I love that theory. Thanks for saying it like that, because I do think about that. I think about hope and love as opposed to fear and as opposed to hate, because that makes you a prisoner of these things, that people that have hurt you, things that happen in your life. You're now almost like, as a result of this is why you're behaving this way. But to maintain your control, and to just purely approach any situation, and consult with yourself, consult with God, the universe, and yeah. So that's my power. My power is knowing that I'm in control, and that I can make or break what happens next in my life. You can find me on all social media platforms by my name, just Catherine Tyson. As you know, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as TikTok. I've been TikToking the young folks, and so I'm also I do a podcast as well. It's called the Resilient Mother Podcast. And so, yeah, you can find me on all of those. And my books are on Amazon. You can just search my name. One's called I'm Somebody's Mama. One's called Single Mama, Powerful, Not Pitiful. And you can, grab a copy of that. And yeah, just reach out to me, please. I'd love to hear from you. And yeah, let's continue to make this world great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to everyone that's here, to our panelists, for your honesty, for your depth, for your leadership. And also thank you to everyone who joined us and held space for this conversation. There were some transformations that happened in real time in the comments, and it was just beautiful to see that. So thank you so much for showing up the way that you have. Healing-centered leadership isn't about perfection. That's something that I've learned today. It can be about presence. It can be about responsibility, and also the willingness to choose peace within ourselves, so that way it can ripple outward to those who are around us. So what was shared here today is also an invitation for everyone to continue to lead with compassion, with clarity, with courage. And I have to say that I'm grateful for your voices, for your time, and also for your commitment to leading from the heart. And until next time, thank you all for being a part of the 100 Women to Watch. Yes, panelists, and also you who's watching. Wishing you an amazingly blessed day, and bye for now.